बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's glow.
So we'll begin the practice by setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts. So we try to be mindful of both aspects, the objects that we visualize and the manner in which we visualize them. First is the refuge field, visualizing the space in front of you. Shakyamuni Buddha, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are looking upon you with immense kindness and unconditional love, just as a mother looks upon her only child. Boddhicitta field. Visualize all the other sentient beings around you, starting with your mother of this life on your left, father of this life on your right. Try to visualize all sentient beings around you leaving none aside. And you are leading them into this practice today. The third part is to remember throughout the practice the purpose why we are doing this. The purpose is to manifest the Buddha nature within you, which is the ultimate source of happiness, by removing the two mental obscurations, afflictive and cognitive obscurations. So we'll recite together the following verses. We'll try to read a bit slowly so that we can mentally invoke the profound meaning of the words and try to give rise to the associated experiences. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all pervaded views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye chudan soke chonam la, jonshu bado dagne kyapso chi, dagi jinso gipe tsoknam ki, jora penchu sangye ju parasho. Sangye chudan soke chonam la, jonshu bado dagne kyapso chi, dagi jinso gipe tsoknam ki, jora penchu sangye ju parasho. Sangye chedan soge chonam la, jonshu bado dagni kyapso chi, dagi jinso gipe tsoknam ki, jora penche sangye ju parasho. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separatedness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all, lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knowledge of path causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possessions of which helps the purest expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations, and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth a forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Evam Vadi Mahashramanaya Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetum Tesham Tathagato Tesham Chayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahashramanaya Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetum Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavada Tesham Chayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such as the nectar-like Dharma has discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. The four seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Instructions on parting from the four attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. To the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, which is on page 14. To the founder, the undone transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the undone transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the undone transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the undone transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the found destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O Supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 words, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Thus free like you, the 3 words are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy fields qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual liberation, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Next is the Heart Sutra on page 29. I prostrate to the Arya triple gem. Thus did I hear at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on mass of virtuous mountain in Vajragiha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in a concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara. How should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom, should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors and consciousness are empty. Shariputra likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no eye element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tiyata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shardvadiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the word of gods, humans, asuras and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by Buddha. Parasangate bodhiswatyata om gate gate paragate
Parasangate bodhiswatyata om gate gate
Parasangate bodhiswatyata om gate gate
Parasangate bodhiswatyata om gate gate
Parasangate bodhiswatyata om gate gate paragate parasangate bodhiswatyata om gate gate paragate parasangate By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and other hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accordance with the Dharma, may auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Page 35. So after each of the 8 verses, we'll pause for a while to contemplate on the meaning. With a determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as prayer. all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jeweled treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped, or in whom I have placed great hopes, mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast as space, that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose wisdom mind is blighted by ignorance. We turn to page 40, short mandala offering. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. Of Venerable Gampopa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flows. May I be blessed that the flows are seen in the light of extolled wisdom. The four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps a true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Boddhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniriyataya. Next page, foundation of all good qualities. So between each verse we'll also take a few seconds to contemplate on the meaning. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again, please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karmas follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all modern migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme Boddhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Boddhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, Please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows in Samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
Okay.
Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of the hordes of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losang Dragpa, at your feet I make prostrations. So we will do 5 minutes of single-pointed meditation. Quickly remind you of the instructions. 4 points to keep in mind. The first is the posture, the body posture. Ideally we would sit in the 7 points Vairocana posture. But as Geshe was reminding us yesterday, the most important is for your back to be straight and your eyes not to be closed, to be slightly open. The second is the focal point. So you can visualize in the space between the nose and the upper lip. So we are meditating not with the body or the eye consciousness, but with the mental consciousness. So we can visualize a tiny dot between the nose and the upper lip, and place all our attention there. So we can also count our cycles of breathing, but breathe naturally. Don't try to slow down your breath or speed it up. So we can place all our focus on the tiny drop while counting the cycles of breath. One cycle comprising an inhalation and an exhalation. The third point to keep in mind is that errors will arise during meditation. We will be distracted either with mental excitement, when the mind is scattered, flipping and wandering from here and there. And the second is mental laxity, when the mind becomes dull and lethargic. So it is very important to, the fourth point is applying the antidotes to overcome these errors. The first is introspection, which is an awareness that constantly examines whether or not the focal point is lost due to mental excitement or mental laxity. And the second is mindfulness, that seeks to return the focus of the mind to the object of meditation. The analogy given for introspection and mindfulness is that of the former is like discerning one's pet dog has wandered off, and the latter is akin to finding it and tethering it to a pole with a rope. I will do for 5 minutes, so you count until I count, yeah. Ready? Next we will meditate on renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. So reinforce the visualization in the space in front of you. Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You are surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And you are seated with your two parents on either side and accompanied by all other sentient beings. So first, renunciation. Renouncing the miseries and their causes, which are self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, and all our afflictions giving rise to karma. All composite things are impermanent. Meditate on gross impermanence, thinking of all the people we have known who have already passed away. You can think of villages, towns destroyed by natural disasters. I think recently there was quite a few in northern Africa, Morocco, Libya. And we can also meditate on subtle impermanence of all composite things. You can think how things are moving so fast. If you bring any object to mind, contemplate how its atoms are constantly moving so fast. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. Things are moving so fast, a bit like a train that is driven by self-grasping ignorance, leading us to miseries. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. This is the counterforce to our self-grasping ignorance, wisdom of emptiness. Seeing things as illusory, dreamlike. Realizing that things are devoid of intrinsic nature. And this wisdom of emptiness is what gives release transcending sorrow is peace. Try to give rise to a strong wish, a strong desire to renounce all sufferings, particularly self-grasping ignorance, which is the root cause of all miseries. Next is Boddhicitta. Today we will do like yesterday, we'll meditate on the four immeasurables. Hopefully Geshe will introduce the methods to meditate on Boddhicitta, so we'll use them in the following days. So today we'll use the four immeasurables again. First is immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be if all sentient beings were endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness? Primarily Boddhicitta, that cherishes others more than oneself, and the wisdom of emptiness, independent origination. May all beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I myself take responsibility that all beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please bless me that I may be able to do so. You can visualize that Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are so pleased with your commitment. They send forth nectars of soothing lights from their compassionate, omniscient minds. And upon touching you and all other sentient beings, everyone is granted immeasurable happiness and its causes. Out of great joy upon seeing all beings benefited, take 3 deep breaths, exhaling with a sigh of relief. Next is immeasurable compassion. How good would it be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering, primarily self-grasping ignorance and the self-cherishing attitude. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. I myself take responsibility to free all beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please bless me that I may be able to do so. The Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are so pleased with your commitment. They send forth nectars and soothing lights from their compassionate, omniscient minds, and upon touching you and all other sentient beings, everyone is freed from miseries and their causes. Out of great joy, upon seeing all beings benefited, take 3 deep breaths, exhaling with a sigh of relief. Next is immeasurable joy. How good would it be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness and the causes of happiness? May all beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness. I take responsibility that all beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please bless me that I may be able to do so. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas are so pleased with your commitment. They send forth nectars and soothing lights from their compassionate, omniscient minds, and upon touching you and all other sentient beings, everyone is granted the stability of joy and its causes that they are already endowed with. Out of great joy, upon seeing all beings benefited, take 3 deep breaths, exhaling with a sigh of relief. Next is immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be if all sentient beings could abide in the state of equanimity, which is free of the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. May all beings abide in the state of equanimity, which is free of the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I take responsibility that all beings abide in the state of equanimity, free of the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please bless me to be able to do so. Visualize that the Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas are so pleased with your commitment. They send forth nectars of soothing lights from their compassionate, omniscient minds, and upon touching you and all other sentient beings, everyone is granted a sense of equanimity towards all beings, embracing them equally, leaving none aside. Out of great joy upon seeing all beings benefited, take 3 deep breaths, exhaling with a sigh of relief. Try to give rise to the aspiration, the wish, may I become a Buddha to benefit all my dear mother sentient beings. May I purify the 2 obscurations and achieve the state of full enlightenment, the state of awakening, in order to guide all sentient beings perfectly. Try to abide in that experience of unconditional love and the commitment to become a Buddha for the benefit of all mother sentient beings. Visualize that this mind of Boddhicitta that you have generated transforms into a horizontal moon disk at your heart. Next is the wisdom of emptiness. To unveil one Buddha's nature, we need to meditate on the wisdom of emptiness, which removes the 2 mental obscurations, the afflictive and the cognitive obscurations. So try to bring to mind the teachings we have received until now. How things are empty of objective existence. How things are dreamlike, illusion-like. can read on page 47, verses from chapter 9 of Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Arya Shantideva. These verses are recommended by His Holiness the Dalai Lama to reflect. Page 47. Therefore, sentient beings resemble dreams. Upon analysis, they are like plantain trees. Whether they are released or not from sorrow, in the ultimate sense, there is no distinction. What is there to gain and what is there to lose, with things that are empty of true existence in this way? Who is there to pay respect, and who is there to abuse? From what are pleasures and pain derived? What is there to be happy or unhappy about? When one searches for the ultimate nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? Upon analysis, this world of living beings is found to have no true existence. Therefore, who can die here? What is there to come and what has been? Who are friends and who are relatives? All you who are investigating reality, please recognize, as I have done, that all is just like space. Those who wish to be happy are greatly disturbed by causes for conflict and overjoyed by the causes for pleasure. But not finding happiness, they suffer, and in order to find it, they exert themselves. They argue with others, cut and stab one another. With many wrong deeds, they live in a stage of great hardship. Even though they repeatedly come to happy existences and experience much pleasure there, upon dying they fall for a long time into the unbearable sufferings of the lower realms. Within conditioned existence, the chasms of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of ultimate truth is rare. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of emptiness mutually contradict one another. Yet, if while in conditioned existence one does not realize this ultimate truth, one will continue to experience a limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have little strength for virtue, and one's human life of leisure and endowment is indeed very short. Also, one strives hard to live long and avoid illness. One is concerned with hunger, rest and sleep. One is injured by others and keeps meaningless company with the childish. Therefore, this life swiftly passes with no meaning, and it is very hard to find the chance to investigate reality. In this state, where is there the means to reverse this beginningless habit of grasping at true existence? Furthermore, devils are exerting themselves to cast us into the vast unfortunate realms. There are many, and it is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. It will be hard to find the leisure of a human life again, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. It is hard to forsake this food of afflictions. Alas, sentient beings will continue to suffer. Oh, indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those adrift in the river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the sufferings they go through. For example, some ascetics wash themselves again and again, and others repeatedly enter fire, but although they have thereby suffered greatly, they assume themselves as happy, being happy. Similarly, those who mistake their sufferings for joy and live as though there were no aging nor death are first of all killed by the Lord of Death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into the lower realms. When shall I be able to extinguish the pains of those tormented by the fires of suffering with the rain of my accumulated happiness that has sprung from the clouds of my merits? And by having, in the manner of not objectifying existence, intensely will I gather the accumulation of merit. When will I be able to reveal emptiness to those who are wretched and sad by the view of true existence? So try to reinforce the Boddhicitta that you have generated in the earlier meditation. Visualize it as a spotless white moon disk that rests horizontally at your heart. And then reinforce the wisdom of emptiness that you transform into a spotless white Vajra sitting vertically on the moon disk that you visualize at your heart. Multiply the Vajra and moon that you have generated at your heart an infinite number of times, and share a set each with all modern sentient beings. Visualize that all sentient beings are joining you in each of the steps of this practice. This set of Vajra and moon is a set of the two bodhicittas. Conventional bodhicitta represents the moon, and ultimate bodhicitta the Vajra. And it also rests in the hearts of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture or inviting them, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to the ceremony of taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vows, let us slowly stand up and make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And if you can, then you can kneel down on your right knee. And with hands folded, we will recite together on page 50. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated a mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train in the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated a mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train in bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated a mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will join the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train in bodhisattva practices. Imagine that you have received the aspirational bodhisattva vow, and feel a deep sense of joy about this. Your gesture of taking the aspirational bodhisattva vow pleases the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that you have visualized in front of you, thereby invoking their omniscient minds and wisdom to manifest an infinite number of replicas of the sets of the moon and Vajra at their hearts. Like a deluge of rain shower, these replicas of the moon and Vajras descend and merge with the moon and Vajra that you have visualized at your own heart and at the hearts of all sentient beings. This stabilizes and blesses the two bodhicittas within you and within all sentient beings. As a gesture, thanking all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for making this ceremony possible, let us slowly stand up and make 3 prostrations to them. Please sit comfortably. We'll read together on page 51. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas, even at the cost of my life. In order to further increase bodhicitta from now on, let's read this 3 times. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas, even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas, even at the cost of my life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, and those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakening mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I have been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I am one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise, by some coincidence, an awakening mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from happy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of the Dharma. For all the guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to exist, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Finally, let us dedicate the merits that we have accumulated during this session. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realizations of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I, in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 ways of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path: renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. From my 2 collections vast in space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom mind is blighted by ignorance. Stand up and make 3 prostrations again, and please enjoy this extra time you have before breakfast to take a shower or whatever you want to do. Have a nice day. Happy birthday to Ben La.